And hello, everyone. Well, we're waiting. There's still a few minutes left, about almost 15. Um, we're watching Judge Boyce's YouTube channel feed like crazy, waiting for the court to actually start the live feed, which they haven't yet. But welcome, Mandy. Thanks for coming. Like, my stomach is killing me. I don't know about you, but it's been a rough one.
Yeah,
A
I'm
really,
sick.
really rough one. Yeah. I actually
Something's
stopped doing
going
the
on though.
recaps. Yeah. I stopped doing the recaps like a little over a week ago because just the information that was coming out of that trial was so heartbreaking and so there's no other
Mm.
word. Wouldn't you say disturbing? Like absolutely disturbing. I did not
Yeah,
realize how affected I would be listening to what actually what actually occurred with the kids, them going over the autopsy reports, and just even more so now with all the tweets and the messages and emails back and forth, the actual disregard as if the children don't even exist. Yeah. So many people have so many feels about this one.
plus I didn't need to know about Chad.
Oh, yes. Like he could have kept
Didn't need to
Storm
know
to
about Chad's
himself.
storm.
Yeah. Really. But although I will admit that did give me that day on Twitter did give me a little lift. I'll say that we had something to make fun of a little bit instead of all of the actual terrible stuff
Yeah,
that was coming out. This jury I really feel for. I really do. What they sat through
yep, yep,
um between them and Storch, I mean what they had to see and actually sit through,
yeah.
horrendous, absolutely horrendous. I give them a lot of credit, and I wonder if they're going to do sentencing right away like Judge Boyce did. I mean, he
Let me
just
look it up. Hold on.
I don't know what they do in Idaho. I don't know if they can go right away. I'm wondering if they have to wait. No, I can hear you. She's research. You see that she's googling away over there. Okay. So so welcome. Hey, Mark Caesar. Hey, Robski. Grace. It's nice to see you. Maya, it's good to see you. Shill. Cool. Everybody's just. I thought you all would want to at least hear the verdict if we could do it live rather than recorded. And last minute they did that order after much appeal. Judge Boyce has been fighting media the whole trial since Lori did her first incompetency hearing, um, in her first bout with getting cleared to stand trial.
So, according to Idaho Code 33, Sentence and Judgment, in felony cases, the time for pronouncing judgment and sentencing must be at least 2 days after the verdict, unless this time is waived by the defendant.
Oh, you don't think Lori's going to waive it, do you? She's going to want to put in a sentencing briefing from her attorneys, huh? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, Ardo. Yeah, it's been a while. Hey,
So,
Tony.
did
What?
anyone else fall out of their chair when they called nobody? Like,
No. Mm-mm.
because I said to Tim, sorry, I said my husband's name. Even when Letitia, they were able to bring in Wackadoodle Lewis.
Right.
I
Mhm.
mean, you pay anybody enough, you know. I
True,
mean,
except for she's not claiming that she's mentally incapacitated.
no,
She's
but
claiming completely non-guilty. So I can understand why you would say that. But
I just
with the
was like,
amount of
nobody.
evidence, I'm actually surprised the plea didn't change after the emails and all came out. And the video of when she got served in Hawaii, and here they are. Her children are missing. She's not
Hmm.
answering anybody about where they are, and they catch them poolside in bathing suits, just living their best life,
Right.
not producing the children, um, just like reading that paper that your kids are missing and you've got to produce where they are or say where they are. It's just so calm. And then the only thing she says is, "Do you need anything from us?" And like, like on your way, like see you later. Like
Yeah.
that's yeah. They're saying your volume is a little low. Let me see if I can bring you up over here.
I'm at
Uh,
work. I'm trying to be quiet,
yeah.
people.
Yeah. Okay. That's purposeful. That's her sultry whisper of I'm on YouTube while working, like while working, which I'm just grateful I had somebody like when you contact I was surprised because this is a tough one. Like when I was actually trying to do the updates on this, I found my voice wavering all the time. I found myself
Yeah.
choking up a little too much. Um and although that's real, like, human emotion and we all were doing it, I just didn't think it made great YouTube content for anybody. I just think it was hard enough and nobody else had to hear it, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't have to
Yeah.
see me doing it too. Um, there were so many good channels, like East Idaho News at the end of every day was
Hmm.
doing such great audio. There was no live feed. It's not like we could all talk about it or address it. So for me, it was like it's all out there. There's no need to get more information out there on top of it. Like the only thing that I would have been able to add was my emotional effect, and I didn't find it necessary, really.
Well, and the thing for me that you have to understand is I'm right next door to this.
Yeah.
So we knew about this before the national media did
Mhm. Wow.
because it was on Portland news, it was on Idaho news before it was like really picked up.
Yeah.
So
Because they were
this
looking
is
for the kids. It was a missing
yes.
kids case, like, at first,
Mhm.
right? And
Yep.
it's unfortunate. That's how Stotch started too, just as a missing child, and, to have such a horrible outcome, you know? But when kids are missing, like, that's big news. That went national quick, when they couldn't find
Yes.
the kids, as it should. We've got a good network here in America when a child is at risk, um, and unfortunately, this had the absolute worst outcome whatsoever. Now, there's a lot of talk. I wanted to ask you, Mandy, because you
Okay.
look at this the way I do too. Besides the emotional part of it, which I think we all can agree, absolutely horrible. It's been gut wrenching. We all just want justice some way for those children. What Absolutely, I get that. But legally here, we have to remember
Mhm.
we've got not one scrap of physical evidence tying Lori Vallow, except for the hair that they found on the duct tape, I believe it was of JJ, correct? That was the
Mhm.
last minute DNA evidence that got submitted. Um,
Yes.
uh, to the duct tape, yes. I would say that's pretty damning considering all the other consequential evidence, all of the other circumstantial and we've got all the emails, we've got placement, we've got how she spoke about it, what she said they would do to them. Um, we have all of that, but we have no like what you would consider, traditional physical evidence of a murder
Mhm.
or commitment. But here's the thing, that's why the conspiracy's on there. Like,
Yes,
when you
because
listen to the
yes.
closing, she can get committed of
Yep.
actually being there and doing it the same just because she's
Yep.
conspired or was part of it. And I thought for me, the way they laid that out in closing arguments and then the judge jury instructions made that pretty clear to them. You're free
Yes.
to say
Mhm.
that there's enough here. If you believe she conspired for that act, you can actually convict her of this murder.
And
Um,
that's a really good Idaho
mhm,
law because I was explaining it to the husband.
mhm.
He's like, "How can they get her with murder? She's got these alibis, blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "No, no, 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 no.
Yeah,
It's the getting of the conspiracy."
mhm. She
And
didn't
then
have to.
yeah,
She
so I was wondering last night, like, what if they got her on conspiracy but not murder? Then they would not have understand what Idaho laws is.
exactly, exactly.
Because if they're going to get her guilty on the conspiracy in Idaho, then you're also guilty of the murder. It's like a bank robbery, just because you didn't rob the bank, but you were the one driving the car, right?
Right.
So
But and that's the other thing. We've got 3 murders here. She's actually for conspiracy for Tammy Daybell also. And this
Yes.
doesn't even address the Arizona charges for her ex-husband, Charles. So, it's yeah, no feed yet. They're making me nervous. They said 2:45. That's 2 minutes from now, and their feed isn't up. Like, oh, wait, here we go. It is up. Hold on, let me get it.
Okay. I'm gonna
Yep. I
probably
just as
cry.
soon
I'm just saying.
as I was like, nope. No, you know
Am
what? I
I
would
break?
imagine most of the chat will be doing that with you. Um,
Yeah.
a little bit, but I'm trying to get this up. And it could be me too, because I always at this time of day have issues. I can't even imagine why.
Weird. I wonder if it's just this time of day. There's
Gonna
uh,
unmute
more traffic to
this
your ISP.
sound. No, it's just playing around with us. I'm gonna put us to the side so we don't miss anything, and just leave it up. So when because it'll come in loud, like right away. Yeah, it's supposed to start like 1 minute. So let's just if that's the best or if this one's the best. We'll see about placement once. I think that could over some of the participants. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, NANA. Hey, Sin. It's good to see you. Juju B. Oh my gosh. She says, let's see. I am interested to see how AZ handles the charges based on the outcome of Arizona. Yes, because that's a conspiracy
Agree.
also. Because the problem with that one
Mm-hmm.
is that her brother already gave a state helps with that case. I believe, don't you, Juju? A lot of emails back and forth about the problems with him, about him being possessed, and about him being a problem. Yeah, it kind of goes along with the rest. With the rest, I really want to definitely see what happens there. Hey, Anna, it's nice to see you. I can't believe I am glad they didn't make us wait too long. How about you? Um, if they had actually made us wait a day or 2 more, I think I would have been like, even worse, a nervous wreck. Are you
Yeah.
guys hearing us okay? Hey, Mocking. Yeah, I know you're always listening. Yeah, but damn.
You're kind of going in and out, but I don't know if that was me because I'm at work
Mm-hmm.
or if that was you.
Yeah. Yeah, Mark says we're roboting slightly. Is it both of us, Mark? I'm trying to make sure my feed stays up good. I think I have to close a few things. We're just gonna oh, signal
And I,
just went up some more.
and I really can't see chat
All
because
right,
I'm on
bit
my
of
phone.
roboting.
So
Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that. Okay, all right. I think I just did a couple of little changes for resources. Hopefully this is both of us are roboting still for a little bit. Damn. This time of day it's so tough with the service. Okay. I think I may have resolved it somewhat. Hopefully within a
okay.
minute, the sound will be let's like talk for me for a minute so they could hear your voice. Just to see if I can hear you clicking. Can
Um,
you guys hear her searching away there? Like she going
no,
at
I'm
it.
working.
She
I'm working.
Oh, she's working. So see, this is video evidence that even though she was live on YouTube, she was working the whole time, people. Like, don't go for her. She's very dedicated. Okay. You can hear her. She's like taking her out. Thank you, GTB. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I did. I'm learning. See that bear? You can teach an old bear new tricks. I'm learning. I closed up
It sounds better. Yeah.
some resources. Yeah. So if you're trying to get a hold of me in DMs on any other platform, forget about it till this verdict is over because I'll shut y'all down. I turned it all off. Yeah. So, yep, Robski, that's it. It's the clickety click. That's me. That's Mandy working away. We need to protect her here. She needs that video evidence that she was actually working the whole time, which is actually comforting. It's making me feel better actually. So keep doing it. Like, 'cause, like this is it. I was watching a live feed on one of the other true crime channels, and they had that going like every day, every day while they were playing a live feed. Like they would be doing stuff and it was clicking. And I don't think they realized like everything that they were like taking phone calls and they were clicking and it all came through on the live feed.
You just broke up again. Am I breaking up also?
No, no, I don't see a signal weakness coming
Okay.
through now. I see it coming through. So, hey,
Okay.
Juju, I know me. If somebody told me that they can't DM me right now because they're closed, like I would be like sending a message right now, like everybody but me, right? Like, what are you talking about? Like, open your damn DMs. No, but I won't see it till after the stream. Well, yeah. Well, I don't know. I should put up you know what? I think I'll give you guys something to do. How about vote? You want to make a poll here? Let's see.
I can't look on any other locations to see if it's live. So can
No,
somebody
yeah.
pop over to
You know what?
pop over to Scott
His
Reich?
his stream, right? Is the only feed, isn't it? I'm just refreshing and it still says,
Okay.
his is the only feed. It's got to come from the judge's office from
Lord.
now I got to do where is the
They're
hold on
giving
here.
me such anxiety.
Now I'm trying to get this bigger again. What happened here? Hold on. I refreshed and now I'm going to have to pull it down and bring it back up again. Hey, Quiz. Hey, Colin. Oh, there we go. What would be the other one? Doubt quick that he would accept that. What do you think? I don't think so.
Okay, I have lots of stupids for you guys. Ready for this one? Here's today's riddle.
Okay.
I am full of keys, but I cannot open any doors. What am I? I
You are
can't see
full
the
of
chat.
cheese.
Keys. Keys like Keys.
Wait, you are full of. Oh, I thought you said cheese, like mozzarella. I'm like, what the heck? Keys. I am full of
Mark
keys,
got
but I
it.
cannot open any door. That's a lock, isn't it? It's a lock, right? Oh, a piano. Oh, that's good. It's also a
Praise
lock.
Jesus.
If the door is locked, it won't open. Praise Jesus.
No,
Yes,
you're.
Robski, exactly. Hey, quit.
Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Let me see if I can find another one. Our HR person sends these out every day.
What? Your HR person like sent you out like corny jokes every day? Although that one, it was cool. It was
Yes,
pretty good. It was better than it was just
one of
slightly better than a bad
what?
joke than a dad joke, like a little bit of both. Florida. Oh wait,
Let
Jujubee
me
said
see.
Florida is an appropriate answer. You're right, Jujubee. Florida is full of keys.
Ooh, I like it. Yeah.
And sure, yup, a keyboard. You are a piano. Mark and High, like quite a few people got it. Always Grateful, Jujubee, like they called it out. Me, I'm thinking a lock. Like I just think very like off the edge.
Is she breaking up for everybody or is it just me?
Am I still breaking up? Because my signal says strong here. All right, guys, give me another
It
audio
could be
chip
me.
there. All right. Okay, what is going on? All right. A lock opens
Uh,
doors. It's just, oh, she backed out. Just you meaning Mandy or just me meaning me? Oh, thank you, Robski. Hey, Quiz, I'm sorry. Like I'm getting tired of everybody saying I'm mocking media, so I'm just like nailing everybody around. Anybody who goes near him, I'm just gonna say, hey, are you mocking media? Actually, I shouldn't. I wouldn't want to wish that on anybody. It's not been fun, uh, to have that kind of stuff going on. This is just they are their own bird. Let the bird be their own, you know. Mm, yes, Colin, I agree, and I know I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I just need a more resource centric system before I can actually take on the OBS setups and stuff like that. When I opened up some extra windows. Okay, I didn't actually. That might have been Mandy because all I did was on the same window mark, all I did was like refresh to make sure that the court
mm,
was not going on without us because it's late, you know. And I don't have it paused. I have it live. It's just a screen. So like I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, do you see that? Yep. Horns of plenty on the seal, they said. But yeah, I'm gonna see if the jury's actually. I'm curious to see if the jury is actually gonna go there based on conspiracy. Well, the thing in Idaho was your spouse actually surprised that no life sentence for number one. I mean, life sentence, yes, but no death penalty. Got taken off the table due to some filing, like to take it off because of some filing requirements. Like that was very sad. Okay,
mm-hmm.
because this is an egregious criminal case. I mean, people were so upset. My DMs were lit with people really upset about that. Uh,
Yeah, it was because the prosecution screwed up.
yeah, they were like, damn,
Yeah.
they definitely,
So I don't know. I go back and forth with that because I'm like, this is a pretty well known case, and people don't like baby killers.
hmm
So would I rather she have to sit there for like her whole entire life in hell in
mm,
prison, or the death penalty? So I kind of go back and forth. I personally think that we should go back to the days where you literally just sorry, hold on, I'm getting a text.
okay, no problem.
um sorry, I'm like
Yeah,
looking at my watch. I have a text, I'm listening to
no,
you, I'm
I
trying to work.
understand.
um
No, I totally.
I'd like to go back to the time where if you're convicted of killing children, that we should just
Mhm.
line you up. What was it called? Where you just like line up a bunch of shooters and just have the person
Yeah.
standing there and just murder them.
All right.
God.
I can see in the corner that they have the feed going. Can you guys see in the corner there? Just like, oh, here we go. We are going to be going. I think once they start talking, we'll mute so that everything comes through really clear for everybody. Hey, T1. Okay. Yes, T1, I agree. That's going to be dangerous for her. I don't know in the women's prison there. But one of the curious things is I see there is reporting going on in Twitter from several people that are there actually in the court that says they brought in quite a few of the alternates. Some of the delay may have been that even with the hour that not everyone has been able to come, or there might have been something during with the jury, or actually just to hear the verdict, they have everybody there, so they can be dismissed. Hey, Sean. Mm. This is a nice clear feed, though. I hope the audio stays clear. Look how nicely that is labeled. Hey, Aunt Chair. I agree, Aunt Chair. The death penalty is an easy out. It exempts them from suffering and punishment. I want them to suffer for as long as possible. Well, I just heard coughing from the court. Hopefully you heard it too. So that means our feed as far as sound is good. Yeah, unfortunately they can't. Thank you for your member chat there, Crazy Cat. But unfortunately, Crazy Cat says, give the evil cretin the chair. They're not going to be able to do that. Um, they can do life. They removed the death penalty, as Mandy and I were discussing right before. She had to like pop out there, but they removed it through some technicalities, Remember, Lori Vallow's team filed that she was not getting her court date in time due to, the timely filing and everything. She did not waive her right to a speedy trial, and there were time constraints. There were some filing delays on the prosecution side. And this was kind of Judge Boyce's way of actually conceding
All
in a
rise.
way. Here we
District
go.
Court's now in session. Honorable Stephen Boyce, Judge presiding. Thank you. Please be seated. All right, good afternoon, everyone. We are going on the record. Madam Court Reporter, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, thank you. This is case CR 22-21-1624, State of Idaho versus Lori Vallow. The matter before the court today is for a verdict in the jury trial that's been conducted over the last several weeks in this case. The court will note on the record, prosecution is here represented by Mr. Wood, Ms. Blake, and Ms. Smith. The defense, Mr. Archibald, Mr. Thomas are present, as well as the defendant who is present. The court's been advised that the jury has reached a verdict at this time. Is the state ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the defense ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well. Let's have the jurors brought in, please. While the jurors are being brought in, I'd like to indicate that this matter is being live streamed on the court's YouTube channel. In addition, the court's existing conduct order is in effect, and everyone needs to comply with that conduct order. This verdict has several counts. The court is going to require that all in attendance abstain from any sort of loud outbursts or sounds that could in any way affect the proceedings in this matter as the counts are read in the verdict. And I expect to maintain order and decorum as has been the case throughout this trial with those in attendance. So please keep that in mind once we get to this stage of these proceedings. So with that in mind, if the jurors are ready, they can be seated.
All right, please. Jurors all present, got for Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bailiff. Please be seated. All right, the court will note that we had alternate jurors that were excused upon deliberations. So now the remaining 12 jurors who have deliberated are here and appear to all be properly seated. Will counsel stipulate that the jury is all present and properly seated from the state?
Yes, Your Honor.
Will the defense will stipulate?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, at this time, the court will inquire then from the jury. Has the jury reached a verdict?
Yeah.
Very well. If you have the verdict form, I'd ask the bailiff bring that over here and we'll have it brought to the clerk to be read. All right, the court has reviewed the verdict form, find that it's been properly completed, signed and dated. So at this time, I'll direct the clerk to please read the verdict into the record. The defendant would please rise.
In the District Court of the 7th Judicial District of the State of Idaho, in and for the County of Fremont, State of Idaho plaintiff versus Lori Vallow, aka Lori Daybell, defendant, case number CR 22211624. Verdict. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn to try the above entitled action for our verdict, unanimously answer the questions submitted to us as follows. Question number 1. In regards to count 1 of the amended indictment, is Lori Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan and grand theft by deception? Answer, guilty. Question number 2. In regards to count 2 of the amended indictment, is Lori Vallow not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan? Answer, guilty. Question number 3. In regards to count 3 of the amended indictment, is Lori Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow and grand theft by deception? Answer, guilty. Question number 4. In regards to count 4, the amended indictment, is Lori Vallow not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow? Answer, guilty. Question number 5. In regards to count 5 of the amended indictment, is Lori Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell? Answer, guilty. Question number 6. In regards to count 7 of the amended indictment, is Lori Vallow not guilty or guilty of grand theft? Answer, guilty. Dated this 12th day of May, 2023, signed by the presiding officer.
All right, please be seated. Madam Clerk, thank you for reading the verdict into the record. At this time, let me just inquire of the jury, is this in fact your true and correct verdict?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Let me ask now from counsel, does the state wish to have the jury polled?
We do not, Your Honor.
Does the defense wish to have the jury polled?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, the jury will be polled at this time. Madam Clerk, if you would please indicate only by juror numbers of each of the jurors if this is their true and correct verdict individually.
Juror number 4, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 5, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 6, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 8, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 9, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 10, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 11, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 12, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 13, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 14, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 15, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 16, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The court does find it's a unanimous verdict in this case, so I will direct the clerk to record the verdict into the record of this case. I'll now have a closing jury instruction for our jurors and also those alternate jurors that are in attendance today. You have now completed your duties as jurors in this case and are discharged with the sincere thanks of this court. The question may arise as to whether you may discuss this case with the attorneys or with anyone else. For your guidance, the court instructs you that whether you talk to the attorneys or to anyone else is entirely your own decision. It is proper for you to discuss this case if you want to, but you are not required to do so, and you may choose not to discuss the case with anyone at all. If you choose to talk to someone about the case, you may tell them as much or little as you like about your deliberations or the facts that influenced your decision. If you decide to discuss the case with anyone, you should be careful to respect the privacy and feelings of your fellow jurors. You should limit your comments to your own perceptions and feelings. If anyone persists in discussing the case over your objections or becomes critical of your service either before or after any discussion has begun, please report that to me. At this time, then, the court offers its sincere thanks to the jurors. I appreciate your patience and attentiveness throughout this lengthy trial. I also thank you again for upholding your important civic duty as jurors in this case. I'd also like to thank the attorneys who tried this case for your professionalism throughout the proceedings and in the pretrial motions that came before trial. At this time, then, the court will discuss briefly sentencing in this case. In Idaho, pursuant to Title 19, Chapter 25, a report is required to be prepared before sentencing called a pre-sentence investigation report. In a typical case, that report takes at least 2 months to prepare. In a case such as this, it will likely take longer. The court will inquire as to a pre-sentence investigator for the time frame required to prepare the report in this case. Upon getting an estimation, then the court will reach out to counsel for determining a date for sentencing. I'll just advise everyone that will likely be, I'm thinking, at least 3 months probably before that sentencing can be scheduled to have the report completed. The court will also advise at this time then, upon conclusion of the proceedings, the defendant will be remanded back to custody of the Ada County Sheriff at this time to be transferred to the Fremont County Sheriff for further proceedings in Fremont County for sentencing. The court will also instruct the clerk to collect any of the jurors' notes pursuant to Idaho Criminal Rule 24.1A. At this time, then, the court will ask that the jurors and any alternates in attendance be excused from the courtroom. And I am going to direct that all in attendance here remain seated until such time as the jurors have been completely exited from the courtroom. And in addition, I'll let the jurors know there is additional information you'll be receiving through the court administration offices on your way out as you leave today. So again, thank you for your service. Court will be adjourned. And Mr. Bailiff, if you could have all rise for the jury.
All rise, please.
Wow. Well, just in case we get anything from the attorneys, I'm going to keep the feed up until he stops streaming. But looks like no sentence today, not like such. 3 months. 3 months. But justice, guilty, all charges. All
All
charges.
right, thank you, counsel. Thank you, everyone, for your decorum this afternoon. Court is adjourned.
And there we have it. Okay, that was quick. That was guilty on all charges. Not only for, remember, there were 3 charges for both children. Each one was murder, conspiracy, and grand theft. Hey, Mandy, I know that was rough, but what a relief, right? What a relief. Well, like I was just saying, 3 charges for both Ty Lee and JJ. There was for murder, for conspiracy, and for grand theft. Okay. There was also some destruction of evidence charges, which were dismissed prior to jury verdict, before deliberations, but also for the conspiracy and of Tammy Daybell, for the murder of Tammy Daybell. So guilty on all charges. The grand theft, some of you were asking about in the chat, that had to do with Social Security benefits that she was receiving for JJ, and also for the manipulation of Ty Lee's bank accounts. There was some of that going on prior to her death, and then after her expected date of death. Remember, the date of death is kind of speculative. They only have an area based on the conditions of the bodies. As we heard in testimony, they could narrow it down, but the approximate date, they know when they last saw Ty Lee And they know when JJ was last seen also, so they can only get an approximate based on the conditions that the children were found in. Okay, let me bring this one down. I have more Mandys than I can deal with right now. Is this the real you? Is this your live one? Okay. I don't hear you. So I don't know if your mic muted or what. Okay.
I'll just go back and chat.
Oh, no. There you are. I hear you. You just said I'll just go back and chat. Was that you? Yeah. Whatever works for you, boo. I dropped the link if anybody wants to come up. If you have anything to say, I know this was an emotional, gut-wrenching trial for many of you. And I tried to give you a place to talk about it, but those talks got to be quite distressing to everybody, and even myself. And so I made the decision to cut that cord there and let some of the larger channels take care of all the information that was coming out. Like I said, even for post-trial information, East Idaho News was doing a bang-up job. Brian Yinton on Twitter. Pretty Lies was doing a great job on Twitter also. They're doing live refeeding for Law and Crime and for other channels. But the East Idaho News did a live feed as far as typing in what was going on every day as far as testimony. There was also the Reddit. There's just the Reddit r Lori Vallow. There are quite a few true crimers in there that are into the details and the documentation that has been quite beneficial. And I just found it more beneficial to start sharing that kind of information for you all on Twitter and all than to do. But even post, I will try to do the sentencing for you. If they don't do it live, I will try to get you a clip and at least complete the actual playlist for you so that you can go back and see. We'll keep it all in one place. But let me just go through some of the comments. Jujubee says, wow, I don't know why I was worried, but I was worried. I hear you. My stomach, I couldn't believe how upset my stomach was about this. It is just, what is simple life without parole? It is just life. If the sentencing goes through, like in Storch got a life sentence without parole twice. One for the actual murder, one for the actual murder and failure to protect a child under the age of, I think it was 12 or 11 in her care. Which was another in where that trial was in Colorado was another charge that could be put on it based on the situation. She also got for tampering with evidence. She got an additional 12 years. Storch did, and then she got an additional 12 years for mishandling of the body, for improper handling of the deceased. So they threw the book at her. She got maximum sentences on everything, Storch. Now that the reason I mentioned that, although this is about Lori Vallow, this is not about Letitia Storch. But I mention it because here we had two juries who actually looked at the evidence, okay, and said, "Oh hell no." Okay, they looked at everything that came forward and said no. Or in my opinion, what really did Lori in on conspiracy and everything else was her fanatical belief. The way she spoke about it, the way she talked about people being possessed, and how she actually, in her entitlement, thought that she could save them by removing the evil. And unfortunately, that process of removing the evil resulted in death. Now, some will say, was that just masking for her selfishness? She fell in love with someone, wanted a totally different life, and then somehow or other, everyone around her became possessed by devils that had anything to do with keeping her from spending all of her time with this new man. I would say it was a bit of a cover. To me, it just looks like a very convenient way to do the worst and then think you're doing some service for greater mankind. It's pretty sick. And it's one of the things that most disturbed me in regards to this child. Not only the conditions that they found the bodies in, what may have happened. To think of the last moments of those children's lives is devastating. To think that people they trusted, that loved them, were responsible is just unfathomable to me. Well, then to listen to the lunacy, and yes, I said lunacy, of her belief and how fanatical she got about it. It was all, in my eyes, some kind of warped justification for just wanting to be away from everything else and pursue this new life, which although they said was in their belief and quite a higher marking of their belief in godliness and all of this other like stuff, was actually just deprivation, greed, desire. They just wanted to be together. Mm. And they wanted everybody else out of the way. We still have another trial in regards to this case. I'd like to know what you guys in the chat think was going to happen to Chad Daybell now that Lori, not owning the property, not being on the property, was found guilty of all charges. What chance does Chad Daybell, when it's his property, and his phone pinged there, and they've got more physical evidence on Chad as far as things that they found on the property, and Alex, her brother. Some of the most startling evidence for me was Alex Cox, Lori Vallow's brother, his wife, her testimony. She believed also. She was following the same things with Chad. She looked up to him. She listened to Lori. But also her recanting to the jury and to all of us, Alex's words that he thought that in the end, Lori and Chad were just going to make him the fall guy and pin anything on him anyway. He died before he could go to trial. He died taking the blame for Charles Vallow's death. He died knowing that it would be testimony against him that he was the last one carrying JJ around, and that he was in his presence when he disappeared. It's probably true. It seems like Lori Vallow, in her little world of entitlement, where she does no wrong, she's in true belief, and everything that happened was God's will. She was the vessel. She was the vessel that was going to cleanse everything. And what she did was cleanse everyone who was in the way, out of her way, to go and have another life with Chad Daybell, who she fell under his spell somewhat. There's been testimony that we heard from her side, the defense, even in the closing arguments that were yesterday. We heard that she was just under the spell of Chad Daybell, believed in his teachings, believed that he was going to do good for everything, and that it must have been some kind of manipulation, but the jury didn't fall for it, and I'm really happy about that. I don't think there's anything. Happy may not be the right word. I can't really assign anything in regards to this particular trial, this particular case, as happy. Every part of it was gut-wrenching, horrible, twisted. Thinking of what they did is maniacal, thinking that this man who wrote books and tried to influence people, but he's just out there satisfying his own needs. This is a true cult person. I agree. Someone said the cult of personality. Janae, I agree with you. Chad Daybell wanted to build a cult. And look at the women around him. He did. Look at how he's got people believing him. Those books are twisted. Thinking people are zombies and that they can be cured of the devil by fire and blight. Thank goodness we have a justice system that could address it. Unfortunately, we had to, because they took it as far as they did. And Jujubee, she did look mad, didn't she? She looked like, how dare they? Like, that's going to ruin her day, huh? She did look a bit upset. And she was dressed in black. I think that's appropriate for her. Her freedom died right there. She's going now to Fremont County Jail to await sentencing. Do you think Chad will take a plea if given one? Mandy, don't you think like some of you in the chat think a little bit like I do on the legal aspects of it because you find it interesting the way I do. Like we're not lawyers. Well, to me, common sense wise, at this point, every single charge, including the grand theft, including conspiracy, okay, guilty all the way around for Tammy, for JJ, and for Ty Lee. And even the evidence that we've seen so far and that we've heard about, we know there's more physical evidence tying Chad Daybell to the scene, okay, of where the bodies of JJ and Ty Lee were discovered. We also have them together the whole time. All of the evidence that we saw in regards to emails and their correspondence and their belief, Lori's belief in what Chad was telling her in regards to the possessions, the light and dark charts, the premonitions about things that are going to happen. All of that is the same evidence that's going to come forward. It was pretty damning for Lori. It got her for murder without any physical evidence that she was anywhere there at the time of the demise. She had alibis, but I hope you noticed that some of those alibis witnesses did not testify. Yeah, but for Chad Daybell, he doesn't have an alibi. Okay, he doesn't. I think he would take a plea. I think his attorneys right now should be talking to him about that. Always grateful. I feel that the verdict today, that any plea deal which may have been there for Chad is now off the table. True, because I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't heard that they took life off of Chad Daybell. Like, I think he could still go up. Although life did change in Idaho recently, didn't it? Yeah, I think, yeah. Janae says her body language was screaming, "How dare you?" That's what I saw. That's what I saw too. Her indignation is what we all feel to her. Like she's actually standing there like, "How dare you?" Actually, like, "I'm guilty." Like, "Are you out of your minds?" And we're all like, yeah." Like, "How dare you? How dare you, Lori Vallow?" Anna says the Chad Daybell, he is in a worse situation by far. I agree. And I'd have to say that the poll came up that 85% of you were all there for the guilty. There were more of you undecided than not guilty. Only a small amount thought that the jury would come back not guilty. And I actually understand that because when you look at the evidence, it's all circumstantial. And we are actually here in America these days, we are prone to look for like physical kinds of evidence and everything. And all of this, side evidence that comes in, which is actual estimate, is evidence. Like we're dealing with trials that go just on testimony alone and collaborating testimony and possibilities and expert witnesses with no physical evidence whatsoever. And we've seen people convicted guilty on that it is more than likely a preponderance of evidence that it just absolutely happened. That's how evidence can be presented in many different ways. But in this case, against her, there was only one piece of physical evidence besides all of the emails that she wrote in her attitude beforehand and the way she was talking and her setting up her own crime and talking about how it was going to be better for everybody if the children were not there. Hey, the Rocket Couch, how are you? This right, Janae, it only takes one to hang a jury. But just like in the Storch case, unanimous. And it didn't take very long, did it? They started yesterday in the afternoon. We've got 7 hours of deliberation, I think, by total, 6 to 7 hours total, if you go with when they left yesterday and when they actually attended court this morning. Yeah. most times I agree with you, Juju. I think that most times they do get it right, especially with these really horrific cases. Can you imagine being on that jury? Here we are thinking about the judges. I mean, Mark and I were talking in the chat, like, we hope that judges that have to go through this repeatedly over and over again, like they have good benefits, mental health, they have an outlet for this. It had to be so disturbing. But how about the everyday person sitting on the jury? You, me, someone just like that. Can you imagine? Like, this is something that will affect them forever. And I'm glad they took that empowerment and control and they turned it into a result that they can live with. This, for them, is justice too. Okay. They get to actually give justice to the grandparents. They get to give justice to all of the people that loved and cared about Tammy, about JJ, about Ty Lee. Those that are distraught, like Alex's wife, those that are no longer here. Charles Vallow's family, his children that are still, his adult children that are alive. How about Lori Vallow's son, who's still alive as a grown adult and had to face the fact that his mother turned into what she turned into? She wasn't always like that, you know? You hear the heartbreaking story of the Woodstocks and how they entrusted JJ to her and to Charles, thinking he'd have such a better life. She wasn't always like that. It seems like she met someone and everything changed. It seems like in her search for truth, she found another way and she was determined to live a different life. And anyone who got in the way, it seems, was put away, aside. That is the heartbreaking part of it. Um, oh, good. Yes. It's like lunchtime for so many of you, and I'm so happy that you are here. Do they counsel jury after the horrendous type of trial? That is a very good question. And along with the one about the judge, I'm going to be doing some research. Anna, Mark, you've actually piqued my interest here on what kinds of services are available for these type of horrendous trials for the jury afterwards if they need someone to talk to. Now, they've been actually, you heard the judge say, if anybody bothers you, harasses you, whatever, come to me. We heard that in the Stotch trial too. We heard how they were protected in the Carroll trial recently also. But I haven't heard about any kind of services like that, but I am going to kind of check into it. Just in the 3 cases, New York, Colorado, and Idaho, let's just try to figure out how that's done. But yeah. And thank you very much. Oh, Mandy, thank you for gifting memberships. Rocket Couch, congratulations. Anna, you are now members here. I see you guys regularly, always. And I actually, Mandy, thank you so much for the support. Crazy Cat also gifted 2 memberships, and Jujubee has been gifted another membership, and so has Aunt Jared. So thank you for the membership. Thank you for those that are gifting them to allow others to see what membership is like. Those that you were gifted memberships, if you're not already in the Discord, which is a perk of membership, please contact me. If you have a Discord ID, I would just want to get that there for you. Otherwise, you will get members only community tab posts, and videos occasionally do come up earlier. I'm not a big producer of the pre-done video, as you all know, with the lives, but I am considering doing members only live chats on certain discussion topics in the near future. So I am going to want to hear from all of you lovely green members about what you want to talk about, because I thought that might be fun and a nice perk for you guys. As it is now, we hold those discussions in the Discord. I know some of you uh, are not as familiar with Discord or have chosen to keep your socials limited, and I'm all good with all of that. I just want everybody to get the same kind of benefit if I can and spread it around. And I love, as you know, to have the conversations, because isn't that what we all do, like here on this channel, about everything, you know. Let's just look at some more comments, and then I did drop the link. I'm serious. All you need is your phone and a mic. There's no camera, but if you've got something to say, remember, I do this for you guys. This for you guys, not just for me, especially this trial. Okay. Thank you so much, Crazy Cats. I love when you put my little bear icon in there with your little crazy cat one. It's so cool. Yep, Juju, you're green again. You're green. It's almost as good as OnlyFans, except for, well, it's not. Harlow. It's like it's just gonna be conversations. I'm really not for exclusions of any type, but I do think that if you guys go out of your way to encourage and support me that kind of way, I should offer you something. I really should. I should give you a little bit more. And so we do have game night in the Discord. High Inquisitor is our game master there, and he does a really great job of entertaining. A lot of you have participated with that before. We do Jackbox games. We play Putt Putt Golf, the new Discord games. We play Code Names, Duo. We've even, we've even got a little golf tourney side thing kind of going on that we're trying to get together, but it's a good bunch. And the one thing that a lot of people like to do is have the conversations on all of the things that we talk about, not only the true crime cases, which if you do get into the Discord, there is a room for almost every case that we are actively covering, and all the update information and videos that people put out, legal documentation that we're looking into, and things like that, things that can help you understand what we're talking about here, that enhance the conversation. The whole purpose is to enhance the conversation with information and to just let you have a really good, well rounded conversation on all sides with people with all different opinions on it, weighing in. Uh, we had that with the Murdoch trial. We had people that didn't think there was enough physical evidence. We had people who didn't think there was even going to be a guilty plea. Okay. And it was fascinating to do that with all of you. I really enjoyed it. You're all talking about it. You all were weighing the evidence, hearing the testimony. It was thrilling. One of the reasons that I do like to do it. Well, I mean, most of us were doing it privately anyway, watching on other channels by ourselves, or watching through our phones or YouTube at any time. And now we've got a place that we can actually talk about it a little bit if you'd like during it, and it's kind of fun. It is fun for me. It is. Mm. Well, let me get to some more questions, and then we're going to wrap up, because I think we are going to do Masterson much later tonight, probably around 10 p.m. EST for the mods that are listening, or for any of you that are following the Masterson case, because there was a hot bunch of stuff going on there. Okay. I think for changing Chad's plea, for Mandy, Always, and Juju that are talking about it here in the chat, the only plea I can see is changing the death penalty to life. Really, that's it. I don't think they're going to take any charges away or anything like that. I agree with you Always. That would be the only thing. A lot of defiance in that body language. I agree, Anna. Yes, Jujubee, the Woodstocks. I really do care for them. They are actually paramount to actually finding these children. They were looking for them. They were the ones who loved them and were talking with JJ, and then all of a sudden things started to change. They are witness to the turning. They are witness to him becoming a missing child, and then, helped to push forward, everything in finding, because they couldn't get a hold of them. Yeah, Juju, the judge said something about telling the jury about aftercare in the Stosh trial. That's what I'm going to look up. I do remember hearing that during sentencing. Thank you, Jujubee. And that's in Colorado. And I think that's where we're going to start, And Always Grateful adds some additional information here. It often depends on the state and the jurisdiction. Many will offer limited service for some type of counseling. I do believe they do. Otherwise, this could be quite traumatic to sit on a jury like this, really. And also the Arizona charges. Now, Jujubee brings up, like, we're not done with Lori Vallow. Lori Vallow still has charges in Charles Vallow's death. She is charged with conspiracy to commit murder there. She's not charged with this murder. She's charged with the conspiracy there to commit murder, because her brother has already said that he did it. Okay. He says he did it in self-defense. The prosecution, the DA over there says there's not any evidence, and also law enforcement is like the way this crime was and the way the body was and the story you're telling us don't match. And Alex was going to get charged with murder. It looked like it because it didn't look like he said. It did not fit a self-defense case with what they were finding. It wasn't matching up. And so now Lori faces charges of conspiracy. In regards to the confession, we know that Alex actually pulled the trigger. Okay, let's see. Are there jackets? Nope. Nope. I don't know, Aunt Gia, but I have a terrible reputation for like I'm actually like partially a nudist. It kind of happened during the pandemic. I don't know about anybody else, but I got like allergic to clothing on a regular basis. So don't use the camera or anything. So the last thing I'm going to give out is like members only jackets for the members. It's going to be most like remove your jacket. We actually have a saying on one of the shows, pants on the deck. It's like mayhem time and stuff. It's all in good fun. Nobody's really running around naked, but yeah. Part of that naked thing is just like being out here, being in the open and just being raw about how we talk about and what we think. Yep. Mandy, what is that holy shot? Yes, there was. What was that? What was that? Like, I'm trying to see what she's answering to there. Oh, yeah. You know what, Mandy? If you will look, Leah Remini's tweet is on my community tab. I retweeted her. I put her on Facebook with that. I was so behind that. I actually requested everybody in regards to the Masterson trial, some of the stuff that's been going on over there, which we're going to talk about more in detail tonight. So I don't want to spill too much of the beans, but I'm sure you're all pretty well aware. There was some major shenanigans going on. Anybody that thinks Scientology is not trying to interfere here, after we talk tonight, like that's for me personally. I'm not going to try to change anybody else's mind, but for me personally, that was the bell ringer for me. That absolutely what has happened this week in the trial, actually all of this whole trial so far, what has been going on in that courtroom, not related to the attorneys and or the witnesses or the jury. Okay, we're talking about the people in the galley, the people that are reporting on it. Craziness. But nothing is going to convince me now that Scientology isn't actively trying to circumvent justice in this case. They don't want this case heard. In the things that are going on, I really think they're actually trying for another mistrial. They do not want this heard. Okay. Exactly, Jujubee. Exactly. Scientology showing their guilt, Juju, we do. We do. We have a couple of grown adult murders that we're following. I don't know why there's so much murder. I think it's because, I used to do a lot of serial killer analysis, looking at the old serial killer cases and everything with Jay and all, and we just got down this murder minions track. But don't forget, Courtney Clenny, the OnlyFans model, with the murder of her significant other. Sarah Boone, the suitcase killer, who we also have that one coming up in June, I believe, next month. Okay. There's still Marilyn Manson, the civil lawsuit there. I've got 23 indictments, 23 pending cases with Trump alone, and possible future indictments on election tampering and things of that nature. We do have an indictment for business fraud currently going on, a 34 count indictment there. We did just close up the Carroll case. We closed up the Storch case, the Murdoch case. We still have 98, what, 101 charges in something like 28 indictments. I mean, it's absolutely insane, the amount of stuff that's going on with the Murdoch financials. We've got Mallory Beach civil lawsuits still pending. We got the Stephen Smith investigation still pending. We're looking into the Rose Petal killer in the dentist. Not so much. I haven't done a lot on that. We still have missing. We still have Shankila Robinson. you know. Yep, I'm telling you. Thank you, Ancher, for the Discord ID, and also I'll check out that actual jacket. I currently don't have any of my other socials up, but I will as soon as we're done. I will do. Yeah. Did you, Sean? You saw a clip of her? Well, there's probably going to be a lot on social media. Okay. Yep. I'm. I didn't mean to get y'all excited, Robski. Yes, I said the word naked. I say it often. Actually. Yes, that really bothers me, Jujubi. There's no justice. No justice there. No one's even like the family is written to the United States as high as they can to the president, to the attorney general. They've got a lawyer. They're trying, you know. Yup, there's a new killer caught in California. Yeah, I hear. You guys can always hit my DMs with this. I can't guarantee I'll cover everything. Okay. Remember, I really do. I am fascinated with it. I read these legal briefs and look at these things every day. But I really want something other than the fact that somebody was murdered because unfortunately, and I don't want to sound jaded or depress you all, we should leave this on a happy note that here, not happy, but at least on a relief note that justice for the families of JJ and Tylee Vallow, okay, and for Tammy Daybell, justice is here at least. That there are consequences for what happened. That they will pay. They will pay. Lori Vallow for herself here will pay, guilty on all charges. We'll see the sentencing on how she will pay, but there's no doubt she's going to. Okay. Remember, Idaho was not going to allow her to use guilty by insanity. Basically, if you're not competent in Idaho, you don't get anything dismissed. You just wait until you're competent, go up on trial. You can use guilty by reason of insanity as extenuating circumstances to why things were committed, for state of mind, for several other reasons, but not for a not guilty. Not in Idaho. Okay. Justice is bittersweet. This is appropriate. And I feel this, Jujubee, and everyone. I feel this. Justice, yes, but it is bittersweet because it most an absolute that we all want is for all three of them to still be here. As long and Charles too. People who were contributing light and joy to the world, to those around them that loved them. We would prefer that they're here. With them not being here due to the hands of another, we are glad that there is justice, at least for the families left behind, and for them themselves, that those that did this will have consequence, absolute consequence. So on that, for Lori Vallow, we'll be back in 3 months, or if anything else really big comes up on the regular true crime update, we'll keep you updated on that. But otherwise, I'm gonna sign out and take care of some things before I see you all back here at 10 o'clock. If you're interested, I know that's late. I'm sorry for some of you, especially those of you not in America. 10 o'clock is kind of late, but it's it actually fits my schedule for today, especially with having to juggle things around to make sure I could do that. But I hope if you can't be there to live chat about what's going on, and I promise you there's a heck of a lot to talk about tonight on that. At least catch the recap. I have a playlist just on the Masterson trial and retrial so that you can go right there. You don't have to get up with all the other content that I'm doing on a regular basis. Yeah, that's a little plug there. That's a little plug there. I'm getting a little bit used to the YouTube thing. I do much more than just true crime. And so that you don't get like really lost there on those video and live pages that I have there and the podcast pages I have there. There are playlists for everything in particular. Okay, one for the updates themselves and on the big cases like the Murdaugh trial, Johnny Depp, Marilyn Manson, Letitia Stoss, and Lori Vallow, there are actual playlists. And once we go to trial, say if we're covering Sarah Boone, I don't know if that's possible yet, or something like that, there would be a playlist and we would pull like all the stuff and references in that we can for you there. But on that, I would say if you want to refresh on the case, as always, I have the links down there. Don't forget the R. Lori Vallow Reddit, Don't forget East Idaho News, okay? Twitter, the reporters on there that have been giving us blow by blow, because remember, the only reason we know what's going on in that courtroom is them taking the time to actually put it out there for us step by step. They dedicated days. Yes, I know it's their job, okay? But they could have just went live in the middle of the night or did a video, but no, they kept us part of it, which I find fascinating and so contributory. They kept us all linked to it as it was happening with those Twitter threads, okay? And you should support them too, even if it's just with a follow. Even if it's just with a follow. Okay. So on that, I think I will say, oh, Juju, wait. Does anyone just want to go hug and comfort each other? Yes, I will be doing that. I have my pillow. Me and my pillow are retiring. I suggest you all hug your family, hug everybody around you. And if you're alone, like I am right now, currently, oh, excuse me. And currently sharing everything with you, but hugging the heck out of my pillow, because don't we all just need a hug? So I sent you all a big virtual hug on this. I'm glad we could share the verdict together. I'm glad that we could share a little bit of closure here. And I hope that we get to do it again with the actual sentencing in a couple of months. Okay. Yes, just breathe. Justice for Charlie. Yes, Mandy. Yes. And thank you for the compliment, Rosny. I'm glad you like my reads. Yeah. Thank you. All right. On that, I keep saying I'm leaving and then I don't go. But I think on that, I'm actually really going to go this time. And it would help if I put the outro on. That means I'm really out of here. So here we go. I'll see you all tonight. Thank you.